Hey everybody, this is Doomhammer with another Madden video. So I was playing around with the new ChatGPT image tool. Another Madden modder and kind of Madden storyteller was using it, and it's improved tremendously. So what I decided to do was put all 32 of my current head coaches in the 2014-2015 season through it, and I'm going to give you the rundown of all the coaches here in the 2014-2015 season of my 32-team franchise. I do plan on going back and maybe putting coaches in the past and the history, even quarterbacks, and generating some graphics that might be very fun. So we'll go through pretty quickly just to give you a synopsis of who is where. So John D. Filippo, he was the former Eagles offensive coordinator. He is the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. He is in his second season after winning the Super Bowl in his rookie year with Andy Dalton in 2014. Then Brad Childress. Brad Childress has been with the Atlanta Falcons since 2004-2005 season, all the way until present day. He's had some rises and falls depending on his season, but been a pretty consistent head coach there with Atlanta. Won some playoff games with Jason Campbell. Now he's with Peyton Manning, so pretty much a solid career for him. Then we've got Dan Quinn, the new head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. This is his rookie year. Of course, Dan Quinn he came from the Detroit Lions, and they had that great run late last season, getting all the way to the NFC Championship game. He now gets his chance as the Baltimore Ravens head coach. And then we got Rex Ryan, Sexy Rexy over here. He is in his third season as the Buffalo Bills head coach, and this, I believe, is his first ever coaching job. Like, he would never coach the Jets, and that was a real-life thing of his. In my franchise, this is his first coaching opportunity. His first 2 years, he was 7-10 both years, and it does not look like the Bills are going to beat that this year. They could, but with the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Patriots, it's going to be very unlikely. But we got Rex Ryan there as the Bills head coach, which he was in real life, but for a second stint as opposed to his first. John Fox. John Fox remains the head coach of the Carolina Panthers, taking them to a Super Bowl, unfortunately losing to the Houston Texans. We look at John Fox as one of 3 head coaches who have never been fired since the very first season. That's Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, John Fox. John Fox looks to have a pretty solid franchise in my alternate reality. He's been doing pretty well staying in that position as head coach, having a top defense for multiple years. So that's our Panthers head coach. Then we got Bruce Arians. Arians has been with the Chicago Bears for several seasons now. Of course, he has not really had as much success, and right now they are 1-7, I believe. So he could very well be on the hot seat, and he could be gone. He joined 2009, 2010, so he's been there this is his 6th season. Quarterback situation is in flux. It's not looking great. And so we'll see if he's able to stick around. Then we got Mike Zimmer in his rookie year as the Cincinnati Bengals head coach. So Zimmer, of course, he was a defensive coordinator for the Bengals in real life. Now, in my franchise, he was never a coordinator for them, but he did end up moving over and becoming the head coach of the Bengals. So nice to see him getting that opportunity. This is his first head coaching job. He's bounced around the league several times. Every time he got close to a coaching job, he just found a way. That team just lost, or the defense didn't look that good. So sorry, Mike. Next Mike is Mike Pettin. Now, Mike Pettin is in his rookie year as a head coach, which is the same as real life. And so, he's not having a great start to this season. And he takes over after Jim Tressel's firing. Then we've got Mike Shanahan, the Dallas Cowboys head coach. Shanahan, the experienced veteran from Denver. He did make another Super Bowl appearance when he was coaching the Denver Broncos in my franchise. They lost to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, Shanahan is trying to turn the Cowboys around. He went 7-10, 6-11, 9-8. But this season they have a winning record, and I don't think they're going to be able to surpass the Eagles, but they are doing a good job being second in the division, possibly making the playoffs. when the Giants were making back-to-back Super Bowls, when the Commanders were making the playoffs, and the Eagles were being as dominant as they have consistently been. Dallas has always been sort of the kind of Cleveland Browns, Jaguars, Jets of the division. Now they're starting to turn around with Russell Wilson. Adrian Peterson has been injured this season. They signed Larry Fitzgerald. They have some solid defensive players like Everson Griffin. And so we'll see if Mike Shanahan can turn Dallas into a potential contender. Then you got Doug Marrone, who was able to find a way to keep his job and find ways to make Denver a playoff team in what is a very competitive AFC West division. Doug Marrone has been the Broncos head coach for, it was since 2012. So this is his third season. He went 10-7. Excuse me. He went 2011 was the first season. Went 6-11, 10-7, 11-6, and they are near the top of their division this year. So he has really turned Sam Bradford around, where Jim Fassel was the coach there for 1 year. When he drafted Bradford, went 5-12, got fired after one season, and then Doug Marrone went improved by one game, and then has had double-digit season victories in back-to-back seasons. And then we've got Rob Ryan. So Rob Ryan never was a head coach in the NFL, but he was the Patriots defensive coordinator for several seasons and then ended up getting his opportunity to be the Detroit Lions head coach. He went 6-11 his first season, and then the next season he was 1-5 and then ended 11-6 and took the Lions to the NFC Championship game last season. So I guess he stays. He's done a pretty good job coaching a lesser talented Lions. They've got some sparks. They got some positives. They got Reggie Bush, who now got a career potentially ending injury. But Ryan Tannehill, they had some decent talent on defense with Lawrence Timmons. So, we'll see if he sticks around. But Rob Ryan, he's an actual head coach. Then we got Jeep Christ. Now, Jeep Christ, I think, was an offensive coordinator for the 49ers once in his real life. But in this franchise, he was the Oakland Raiders offensive coordinator when Oakland won the AFC Championship game, but lost to the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. So he was seen as a hot coaching candidate because he helped turn around Matt Ryan's career. But the Packers have been up and down, up and down. They are either 10-7, 11-6, or they were 3-14 or 6-11. So Jeep Christ is taking over a difficult situation. They just lost Matthew Stafford in free agency to the Seahawks. So they are near the bottom of the league. They did get their second win of the year, so yay them. It only took them until like week 9. But Jeep Christ is trying to turn the Packers around, and we'll see if he's able to do that. They did sell off a lot of their talent to gain more picks and draft capital. So who knows what could be in the Packers' future. Then I know this might be painful for Tennessee Titans fans, or maybe they revel in the pain they're departing onto the Houston Texans, their rival. But Jeffrey Fisher I is the Houston Texans head coach. He is in his 4th season. He went 6-11 his first year, 11-6 2 years ago, 8-9 last year. And this season, it is between the Texans and the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are leading the division right now. Houston just lost the game against the Jaguars, so that the Jaguars broke the tie in week 9 to kind of take the lead in the division. But Jeff Fisher has actually been making the most out of quarterback Mark Sanchez, who used to play for the... Oh, man, where did he used to play? Oh, I should know that answer. But anyway, Mark Sanchez had his first attempt at being... it was the Chicago Bears, yeah. So after Sanchez failed in Chicago, Houston decided to give him a flyer, and since then, he's actually done pretty well. So we'll see if Jeff Fisher continues his moderate success that he's used to achieving. Those 8-win seasons, 9-win seasons. Then Norv Turner. Norv Turner is in his first season as the Indianapolis Colts head coach. He had been the Minnesota Vikings head coach for multiple seasons. He was during the time of... when Dante Culpepper was winning all those MVPs, Mike Tice went 5-11, and then after that season, he was fired. So Norv Turner became the Vikings head coach from 2005 all the way to 2011, and then they went 4-14, and so they fired him. And so since then, the Minnesota Vikings, that's when they drafted RG3 And they have Perry Fewell, which we'll see in a bit. But Norv Turner is taking over after Bill Cowher's failure to win a Super Bowl. He did take the Colts to a Super Bowl attempt, but they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles. So Norv Turner is trying to, who did take the Vikings to a Super Bowl. They lost to the Patriots. He is going to try to fix the Indianapolis Colts with Kirk Cousins, and so far it's off to a pretty rough start. Then we got Ray Horton. Ray Horton is the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach. He had some good success as a defensive coordinator, and now he is trying to turn a franchise around. He went 5-12 his first year, 8-9 his second year, and now he is leading the division with Colt McCoy as his starting quarterback. So we'll see if that continues, but good for him. Again, Ray Horton never was a NFL head coach in real life, but he gets an opportunity in my franchise. Then we got Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris is the new head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs after a 4-13 and 5-12 back-to-back seasons by head coach Tony Sparano, who took Brandon Weeden as his quarterback, and then they had some quarterback controversy. 2 seasons was all Tony Sparano was given, and now Raheem Morris is trying to fix the Chiefs. They drafted a quarterback, Blake Bortles, and Blake Bortles had them leading the division for a while, but now the Broncos have overtaken them. I think the Raiders are getting close, but not bad for a hot start for a young head coach and a young quarterback. Then we got Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is with the Miami Dolphins. He did take the Miami Dolphins to a Super Bowl in his rookie campaign as a head coach. They lost, of course, to the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, Harbaugh is a hot coaching candidate. They went 9-8, 8-9, 12-5. They are the only team undefeated here in 2014-2015 at 9-0. So we'll see if Harbaugh and his team with Cam Newton, Calvin Johnson Jr., Matt Forte, and many, many other stars are able to take the Dolphins to a Super Bowl victory. Then I mentioned Perry Fewell. He is the coach for the Minnesota Vikings. He went 7-10 his first year, 11-6 with RG3, and now he's kind of in that bottom of the league with the rest of the NFC North, who just can't seem to find a way to win. But we'll see if Fewell is able to get a respectable season out of the Vikings this year with the league MVP RG3. And, of course, Bill Belichick, no surprises here. He is the second out of 3 coaches that have never had to be fired or be gone. Now, there's questions about whether he should be fired. Now, given he missed the playoffs his first 2 seasons, 02 and 03, which was tough. Then they went, he was the head coach of the year. They later won 2 more Super Bowls. His Super Bowl history is 3-3, so he has never lost a Super Bowl. However, in real life, he was 3-5 at this time, making 5 Super Bowls, losing the 2 to the Giants, but still winning 2. I have only ever won 2 Super Bowls with the Patriots. I have never made an additional one, but he's won Coach of the Year twice. But they went 8-9 last year and missed the playoffs. And I think they're like 5-4 this year, and they're on the outskirts of the playoffs. So I don't know what to do with him if he does not make the playoffs again, because Tom Brady is in that peak, entering twilight years of his career, and we kind of want to get the most out of Tom Brady. And so would the Patriots have considered firing Belichick if he wasn't making the playoffs, despite winning 2 Super Bowls back-to-back? I don't know. I guess you can comment if you think Belichick should be on the hot seat if he doesn't make the playoffs this year, or if they just need to stick with him because he's probably the right choice. Then we have Patrick Shurmur, the Shermanator, in his second season as the New Orleans Saints head coach. He went 5-12 last year, which was not good. That was worse than the 7-10 season Josh McDaniels got fired on. But we got to see if Pat Shurmur can get some more wins here. He started with Geno Smith. He actually had Geno Smith on the bench last year for most of the season, where Byron Leftwich started the majority. Then he started with Geno Smith. Geno Smith sucked and wasn't winning. And so he put Michael Vick in, and Michael Vick is 2-0 with the Saints this season. So we'll see if the Saints turn their season around with Michael Vick, or if they are the same below-average team. He probably is on the hot seat this second season if they are that garbage of a team. Then we got Jim Caldwell. Jim Caldwell, the Giants head coach. Of course, Jim Caldwell is someone that coached the Colts in real life. He is in that very difficult NFC East. He went to the playoffs twice. 11-6, 10-7 his first 2 seasons, 9-8, mostly with Carson Palmer. But last year he went 6-11. They did draft Matt Barkley, so Matt Barkley is their starting quarterback this year. He sat behind Palmer last year when they went 6-11. We'll see. And right now, Matt Barkley is not playing horribly for a low overall quarterback, but I don't expect much out of the Giants this season, so I don't know if mediocrity in New York would get him fired in his 5th season if he's only 6-11 or 7-10. I'll make that call when we get more of the season underway. Then we've got Chip Kelly, who became the New York Jets head coach. Now, the Jets had some struggles with their head coach. It was Mike McCarthy, then Todd Haley. They had all this talent: Clinton Portis, Alex Smith. Who else did they have? They had some Percy Harvin, Mercedes Lewis, but they kept missing the playoffs. So they have a 7-10 season, 6-11 season. So Chip Kelly in his first season went 11-6. Right now this year they've only lost 1 game so far. I think it was to the Rams or something like that, another tough team. But Chip Kelly has them looking very good. He kind of looks a little awkward there, but hey, it's Chip Kelly. What can we say? Then we got Hugh Jackson, who apparently took the Oakland Raiders to the Super Bowl. That was not what I expected, but he did have Matt Ryan. So he went 7-10, 8-9, then 11-6, getting all the way to the Super Bowl, only to come up short. So even though he's had some good success, he's also had some failure, but definitely a much better coach in this franchise than in real life. Andy Reid, the 3rd head coach, who has not been released or not let go. So he's kept his head coaching job the entire time in this franchise. And not last year, but 2 years ago, Andy Reid was able to win the Super Bowl with Donovan McNabb. He also went to the Super Bowl in his first season with me in 2002, where he won Coach of the Year, went 16-0, but lost to the Buffalo Bills and Drew Bledsoe. Then we got Lovie Smith, who's probably one of the most successful head coaches in this series. He has won 2 Super Bowls with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bill Cowher did not win one in his entire career. So he made the playoffs most of the time he's been here. I think he missed the playoffs twice. He went 8-9 2 seasons in 2005 and 2010. And then he was 7-10 last year, but still made the playoffs after a very miserable AFC North experience. But he is looking to be winning the division this year, most likely. However, the Bengals have shot up and being a little bit more competitive this year with Derek Carr. So we'll see if Pittsburgh is able to hang on to the division leader. But Lovie Smith has been a pretty consistent head coach, and of course he's going to keep coaching till he retires because that's how Pittsburgh does it. Then we got Sean Payton. Sean Payton has been the San Diego Chargers head coach for many, many seasons. He came over and has made the playoffs every year. He's been the head coach of the year once in 2007, and it's been him and Aaron Rodgers just destroying the league in the season, but then doing absolutely nothing in the playoffs. So, like Aaron Rodgers normally does. So it's interesting to see the shift there. Sean Payton really doing a good job, and he is likely going to stay for many more seasons. I mean, I don't see him going anywhere anytime soon. Then Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll has had a pretty rough go at being the Seahawks head coach in his first 2 seasons. He is almost on the hot seat. He could have been fired this year. He went 6-11, then 5-12. But I decided to give him another season, and now he's picked up Matthew Stafford. They picked up they still had Marshawn Lynch, but now Marshawn Lynch is going crazy because of Stafford. They drafted Mike Evans and Devontae Adams, so they got a whole new slew of talent. And we have Pete Carroll just absolutely having a fun time this year. So we will see if this saves his career as a Seahawks head coach. And then we've got Tom Coughlin, the other really, really successful head coach in this franchise. Now, he has made 3 Super Bowls and won 2 of them, all with Drew Brees as his quarterback. This year, he's struggling. This is the worst season he's ever had. There was one year he went actually 2 seasons he went 6-11. He also went 7-10. But again, when you win 2 Super Bowls and win go to an NFC Championship game, he's a keeper. And so he is been very successful, but mostly lived out the career of Drew Brees. I will see if after this year, when they're probably going to be low, does he decide to stay? Do I keep him? Do I maybe have him retire? Because I think he has one more season before he retired in real life, or maybe this is the season. I think he retired in 2015, but he was more forced out because the Giants wanted to go a new direction. So I don't know if I'm going to do that to him yet, but it's imminent. And then you got Mike McCarthy. He used to be the Jets head coach for many seasons, and he got fired because he just wasn't winning with all the talent. Then he went to the Rams, and they went 8-9, 6-11. But that 6-11 campaign gave them the number one wait a second, let me double check. No, excuse me, they were 3-14 when he took over, because it was the Greg Williams went 3-14. That's when they got Andrew Luck in the 2012 NFL draft. Then he went 8-9, 6-11. And this year, they only have one loss in the regular season. So that's really good for the Rams. McCarthy is on track to maybe making the playoffs this year, and we'll see if he can do any better than when he was with the Jets. Then you got Ron Rivera, a long-standing head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And every year I'm almost about to fire him. He bounces back. He's made the Super Bowl and was just a fumble away from getting a field goal to win the game over the Patriots. But, Jeremy Maclin fumbles the ball. But he went like 6-11, 8-9, 8-9, 9-8, made the Super Bowl, 7-10. Then he went 11-6. Then he went 9-8 last year. This year he is struggling more, so we'll see if maybe he does actually face the hot seat and face the consequences of a bad year. But he's been the coach since 2007, so almost about 7-8 years as their head coach. Then we got Gus Bradley, the second-year head coach for the Tennessee Titans. In his very first year, the Tennessee Titans took a huge turn for the better. They were one of the front-leading teams. They went 11-6. They were like the number one team for a while, but then they sort of slumped a bit. And he did it all with Tavares Jackson, who was like an 80, 81 overall quarterback. So he's highly overall, but he's seen as more of a journeyman. And so that was a great success for the Titans. Unfortunately, this year, they only have 1 win. So they're struggling. We will see if I'm impulsive with the Titans and decide to get rid of them, or if I decide to do the discipline thing and keep them around. Then we've got the last head coach, the Washington Commanders. He did become the head coach during the Washington Redskin years. But Marty Morningway, if you don't remember him, he was the guy that I think had was the Lions head coach before. Then he was an offensive coordinator for the Eagles for like 6 seasons. And now he's his own head coach again in Washington. And he went 8-9 his first year, 11-6 making the playoffs, then 9-8. Then he was 8-9, and this year they are a 1-win team. So I expect him to be on the hot seat and likely fired at the end of this season. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this overview of who's head coach where. I have my own chart and my own graphics to keep track of all these coaches, but I just think the AI generator is looking fantastic and getting. Again, like you can see that they are very clearly AI generated. It's not really them, but it gives them some more realism. So it's a very unique way of doing a franchise like this where you can actually see the coach. You can see them with the background. I could probably get them on the field and have some neat AI graphics there. But sometimes it's a little scary, but again, I don't have time to Photoshop and do all that stuff. I just want to find something quick and simple that makes it fun. So thanks for watching the video. If you want more content like this, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment if you think something is cool or you hate something or you have an idea. I always love to hear your thoughts. But thanks for watching. I'm going to keep chugging along with this season. Again, slow and steady. Sometimes I go very quickly. Sometimes I'm not playing Madden for several days because it's just work and life is busy. But keeping steady and keep getting more done. So thanks for watching and hope to see you in the next video.